Hello everyone, welcome to ChessVisor. In today's video, it is going to be a different video from the other videos because it's from the subscribers tournament which we usually conduct on the weekends. So we have another channel called Tamil Chess Channel. As you can see, the website is also says Tamil Chess Channel, where we conduct the weekly subscribers tournament for free, just for a practice tournament. So we select one of the top games or the who wins the tournament. We're gonna select one of them, one of their games, and then we are going to show it to the subscribers. And that's what I do usually. And this is the new content for this channel. So just to give you a brief introduction, I was telling that, and without much delay, let's get started. This game was played between CA Yasil Karunai, the username, and then black is Hanujan. As you can see, there is a lot of difference in the rating, but I'm sure you're gonna enjoy this game. Without much delay, let's get started. With the white pieces, CA's Yasil Karunai starts the game with 1 e4, and then we have e5 by Anujan. Opening wise, we are seeing the Italian opening, and the defense wise, it's a new defense to me actually. Generally, we have d6 directly when I play e4, then it is e4, e5, and then knight f3, d6, then it is called Philodore's defense. But now it says Paris defense. Anyway, name doesn't matter. So here white goes h3 and then h6, pawn to d3, knight f6, a3, just paving the way for the bishop when it is chased. Bishop e7, knight c3, bringing one more piece into the game. a6, just trying to advance on the queen side so that he can fence out the bishop on b7. Bishop e3, pawn to b5, gaining time on the bishop, and the bishop finds its way on the a2 square. Bishop b7, both side castles, and then we have knight to e2. So in this position, white could have completed his development with queen to d2, forming this little battery thing, and then knight e2, knight g3. He could always play that move. So just a small note here: knight e2 and then knight h7, knight to g3, securing f5, and he has a great grip on that square. And here black plays bishop g5. So here after bishop g5, it's kind of it's not a mistake, but white can take advantage of this by playing just knight takes g5. And here black should capture the pawn with h into g5. Okay, and that stops the move f4, because if you take with the knight, that's kind of inviting the f pawn to run over you. So f4, e into f4, and then rook into f4, and then the game continues with white is having a good attack on the king side. So going back in the game, he plays pawn c3, just securing the d4 square maybe, or just waiting what black is going to do. Here he plays h8, preparing the pawn f5 break himself. So he tries knight to f5 because the square is not secured enough. So or it is not secured at all. So knight f5, bishop into e3, f into e3. Now the f file is also open now. Knight e7, challenging the great post of this knight, and then he supports it with his brother knight. Knight 3 h4, knight to g6. It's kind of an error again, because we can play this move queen g4 that was played in the game also. And here white's an error. You are inviting the queen into the game, and if you capture, it's not going to do that much for white. It is just going to help the rook to see the rest of the world. And here black makes another mistake here. Knight f6. He blunders a pawn here. That is not the point here. It is not that black is just blundering a pawn. It is actually he is blundering the game here because of the following combination: knight takes g6 check, f into g6, queen takes g6, threatening checkmate. And how you gonna defend it? If you play rook to g8, that is fine. It's a well move. But the problem is we can simply take on h6. And again, say for example, if you take on h6, if you take, and then I'm going to give this check, and you block him. And then I play rook f7. That's over. Okay, so this is not the natural way to defend. And one more move that was played in the game actually, that was queen to d7. And here there is a winning move for white. The move is to deflect the queen away from defending the g7 square by playing bishop to e6, just sacrificing or decoying the bishop so that the queen can move and we can checkmate. So after this move, there is no saving for black actually. You have to give up the queen here actually, or the rook. Either way, you're going to lose the game actually. So bishop into d7, you lose the queen for nothing and you resign. So going back in the game, he missed everything and he played rook f3. Pawn to d5, just trying to break the center. And after e takes d5, the natural reply, knight takes d5. And after e4, the knight is coming to the f4 square. And here he makes another brilliant move here. That is rook takes f4, sacrificing the whole rook for the knight. E into f4. And again, The point of sacrificing the rook is to play or to follow it up with the move bishop e6. But then in the game he played rook f1, which kind of neutralizes the all the advantages which is which is there for white. But instead of that, he could have tried bishop e6. But in this position, you might be thinking about rook f6, right? You can go for this variation where you can sacrifice the queen. Queen takes f6, g f6, and then bishop d7. Game over. You have a pawn, as well as even if you lose the pawn, you have an extra piece for the rest of the game to win the game. But in the game, he plays rook f1, which is, as I said, it is neutralizing the advantage. Rook f6, threatening the queen, and the queen pushed back. Bishop c8, forming this little battery and taking advantage of the knight pin. And here he plays rook takes f4. That is the right way. Still, white is kind of better because the rook, which is sitting on the a8 corner, is not into the game. That's why white is still better. And also, look at this bishop. This is a heroic bishop of this game, and also the f5 knight. So pawn to c5. And here also white has a winning move. That is, it's very difficult to find it in a 10-minute game. Maybe you have to play this brilliant move, that is e5. Why it's a brilliant move? Because you are giving up the knight temporarily, but you play this move e6, cutting off this connection between the queen as well as the rook. And you might be thinking about the sacrifice here, like this: rook into f4. After e takes d7, and then you sacrifice, and then you promote and get the new queen and win the game. But in the game, he played bishop d5, naturally attacks the useless rook. But in the game, he played rook a7, just lifting the rook and make it useful. Rook f3, and then queen e8, and then rook g3, going after g7. Bishop to g7, removing one of the key attackers from the position. E into f5, and then queen to e1 check, king to h2, queen to f2. And then here he plays bishop e4. Here also there was a better move, that is bishop to e6. The difference is that you don't allow the rook to come to f7 to form this battery and put pressure on your pawn. But in the game he played bishop e4. That is a natural way to play, right? But the problem is he loses a pawn on b2, and still the position is kind of equal, but the rooks are getting involved into the game, and he doubles it on the f file now. Queen b8 check, rook f8 blocking the check, and then queen a7 threatening mate, and then he blocks it again. Queen b8 check, king h7, bishop to d5 threatening the rook. And after this move, he says, okay, you can go ahead and capture my rook. I'm going to capture the pawn. So he gives up the rook back. The winning continuation for white again is not to capture the rook directly, rather you attack it further, because if you play queen to e8, this is the winning sequence for white. If you play rook f8, then I can go queen e7 threatening mate. Anyway, you have to give up the rook like this. Like, say for example, rook into f5. Queen is defending the mate, but now we have this bishop e4. If you defend it further, say for example, there is no way actually you can defend it further. And then even if you do it, then we can play this move. Say for example, let's say queen f6. This is a natural way. Then you play bishop f6 check. And then the queen is tied to the defense of this pawn because it's guarding the mate. If you take, then it's gone. So that is why, however you play it, there is no way that rook is going to be saved. And that is why this was the winning move, or the final chance that white had in his hand. But he missed by playing bishop into f7. Now the game is equal. But if you look at the position or the structure of the pawns carefully, it is black is the one who is better in terms of pawn structure on the queen side. And you have a couple of weak pawns, and it will be grabbed easily. And that's why it is very difficult for white to hold this game. Let's see how the game progresses. Rook into f7 was played, queen d6, and then rook f6, threatening the queen, queen d7, rook f8, queen to d6, rook f6. There was some kind of repetition. Actually, black was expecting him to accept the draw, but then he plays queen d7, and then he plays rook f8. Here also, the interesting thing is to sacrifice the rook on g7 and get the draw by perpetual checks. But he missed it. Rook f8, and then queen d6, queen f6. Again, he wants to exchange the queens off the board. Maybe he is saying that, okay, I have a better structure, let's try for this endgame. But in the game, he takes the pawn on c5, queen takes f5, loses the another pawn, queen b6. And then here also you could have exchanged the queen, but he plays queen b6 going after the a pawn. Rook f6, and here after queen a7 threatening mate, and he plays rook g6. Again, he is offering the rook exchange, but in the game he played pawn to d4, which is a big blunder in this game, because your the queen is always ready to come to the e3 square where it can defend the rook. But then when you play this move, you are blocking it. But the problem is the black can play this move, and in this position on 47th move, uh, white resigned the game, and black wins the game, and also he won the tournament. So this is the last the standings of the tournament. It was like a from the last year actually. So we cover 1 game by a week. So we are at like 48th tournament, but now we are covering the 23rd tournaments game. So this is the standings of the tournament after all the games. So Hanujan won the tournament, and then the second place goes to Manoranjan, and then Menma Uzmaki takes the third place, and these are the other players who came in the top 10. I hope you enjoyed this quick commentary on this game, and if you want to participate, you can join on my WhatsApp group, which is linked in the description below, and you'll get all the notifications or the updates there. And also don't forget to join our team Sathuranga Chanakyan, which is also linked in the description. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and still if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, consider subscribing it. And as usual, this is Chess Wiser, your wise choice to improve your chess.